Well, let's make sure we have our audio. And hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bullshooting episode number 5. Will Stuart here. Appreciate you being here once again. It's been a while since we've done this. Happy to have you back tonight. A special guest. He's been on our show a couple times. Why not make it one more? We've got Mr. Ryan Mooneyham. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, glad to be back on the show.
Hey, I tell you what, we've had some fun of late. I figured why not pull you back on? Let's have a chat about it. Let's talk about how things have been going for us. We've had some exciting affairs with National Dart Association, Team Dart, and then we had Whammo. What a big event that was, man. I got to tell you what. Some exciting affairs. I mean, we've just been so busy. We haven't been able to do a podcast episode. It's been so hard to get on here and wrangle some guests in, but we're excited to be back for this one, man. What do you say? Let's have a chat or two about some North American darts.
We have a big, exciting weekend coming up. We have just come out of some big, exciting events in the United States for sure. I know some stuff has been going on up in Canada. North America is coming out of the COVID, and I think they're starting to put the darts back in the board. What do you think?
Yeah, they really have been. I'm excited. Of course, we got a big event coming this weekend. We're going to touch base on that one. We're going to talk about, the Pro Tour and Premier League darts, of course. Dave Cameron, we're going to discuss him. And then we're going to, of course, discuss Whammo and NDA just a little bit. And we'll start off there. I mean, that's where we want to kind of start. We do have some highlight reels that we're going to kind of play for you guys that are enjoying this on Facebook and YouTube that aren't able to catch the audio version later on. You can still do that, by the way. We'll cut those audio clips later. But yeah, let's get right into it. NDA, National Team Dart. You unfortunately weren't there. Prior engagements. We did have Sean Green and I attend that one. Man, I know you were tuning in on the coverage. I saw your name often. What an event that is. I mean, 256 boards in Las Vegas, Nevada. I mean, tough to beat that.
Well, and look at the different styles of boards about NDA.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got you've got the Arachnid G3s that we see a lot. You had the Phoenix, the Radical. I think it even had some valleys in there, if I remember looking right. I mean, you have to explain for sure, but it's all walks of life and all different aspects of soft tip darts coming into one big tournament. I mean, it's huge. Of course, you have the international event. You had two NDA Team USAs that got to represent, so they got to be able to come back in and play. That they lost their chance last year, so kudos to those guys for doing it.
Yeah, you mentioned, you hit the nail on the head, the international challenge. It was nice to have that. I know we didn't have the teams that we normally have for that event. It was just Canada and Germany. Unfortunately, Germany didn't bring a women's side, so they just had the men's side, and they had 2 of those. So it was just really the women for Canada and women for USA that towed the Aki for that one, and both Team USAs ended up meeting in that final for a little tiebreak scenarios. So it's nice to see those ladies have to battle it out for that first place prize. Although I kind of think that both of them can kind of take that and say that Team USA won per se. Although one did get crowned, that's kind of unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, it was nice. The women's game was spectacular. Then you go on to the men's, same thing. The USA just kind of dominated over the Germans and over the Canadian teams, and it was both Team USAs that met in a little tiebreak scenario once again, and it really came down to a last crucial dart by Mr. Wes White, and he put it in there for the win for the 2020 team of Team USA.
Well, kudos to Wes because, number one, is he got to play. He had some battles. Won't go into detail over the last couple years, and earned his spot, got to play in his spot. I've battled with Wes a little bit in the past, so Wes, if you're hearing this, good shots, good play. I'm glad you got to do what you set out to do, because that was always a goal of his, was be on Team USA.
Well, I'm glad he got the opportunity. You could really see what it meant to him in the long run. I mean, the whole team was kind of teary-eyed after that one. We did a little post-match interview, and it was nice to do. And yeah, I mean, the whole gang was kind of like, just, you could tell how much Wes meant to him, to each of them, and for him to be on that team and to get the W with the match-winning darts was awesome. Was awesome.
Let's just hope that within the next couple of years, we're going to have all our international teams back together competing on an international level. I mean, we've got Germany coming up in a couple, I think in June, a couple, 3 weeks, where we're going to have the World Cup teams for the PDC go around. I know that the WDF World Cup is next year. Hopefully all that'll come together the right way with not travel restrictions and all the things and problems that every country's been facing just to try to do some sort of international level darts. We've been very fortunate to see our tournaments come back for the United States, both soft tip and steel tip. We got the U.S. Masters coming up. So I don't want to say it yet, but I do believe we kind of got some normalcy again. Is that the term we want to use?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, we saw it with the sheer magnitude of people we saw at Whammo in Wisconsin. It was just crazy, the amount of people that were both in Vegas and at Whammo. But you mentioned you kind of hit it. We saw Bullshooter this past weekend. They had their kind of international competition, but not everybody was there. That international kind of thing we're still getting around to. But sooner rather than later, I think we're going to have a big event with all those international players in attendance and really see a big bang. So, yeah, but before we kind of dabble into too much, we'll start discussing Whammo. But we did have some highlights for you viewing, so we'll go ahead and play those in the background. You'll be able to hear us and then check that out in the meantime. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Some big shots in this little series here, so enjoy that one. But yeah, Whammo, I mean, let's kind of get into that. It was our first time attending that one, and it's crazy to think the amount of players that they had in there, that they had to split that thing in 2 sessions, an AM and a PM session, to fit everybody in there.
Well, so, right now we're watching the highlights from NDA. As these highlights come for you, the Whammo, wow. You told me when I pulled in, there's plenty of parking. I parked in the back 40 and had to take 2 tractor rides to get to the front door. That's how busy that parking lot was. And this was the slow day.
And that's the insanity of it. It was literally within an hour's time. I think I told you, I was like, hey, there's plenty of space to park. You're fine. Come on in. And then you came and said, there's not a space to park. I literally walked outside, looked, and was like, man, you were not lying. This thing filled up quick. And then you got to the team event days. My word, the amount of people that were parking in the grass at that point. And then Sunday, there were some RVs there, because that's a big campground thing for all those Wisconsin people. They come up there and kind of enjoy themselves at the Dells, which is kind of like what we consider in the Midwest a little mini Branson, kind of a fun little tourist town. It was nice. As we see Gates here getting it.
Well, so how I compared Wisconsin Dells is it has a little bit of Branson, there's a lot of Lake of the Ozarks from the olden days, and a little bit of Eureka Springs with their Victorian houses all shoved into one.
Yeah, and that's exactly what to say. And I mean, there's some beautiful views up there. I made my way up through Dubuque, Iowa, and through that little northeastern, southwestern point of Wisconsin and Iowa. And wow, let me tell you what, just some beautiful country up there. Definitely want to make your way up to Wisconsin if you have not. I was really, really impressed. And then you just talk about the sheer magnitude. I think 280 boards is what we came up with. 280. That is insanity.
Well, okay, and it's take a space that can hold 2 full softball fields and fill it for 280 dartboards with room to walk, and then pack it full of people where you absolutely have no place to walk. I just can't talk about the sheer number, especially on the team day, about how many people were in that giant arena.
There was a ton, man. I got to tell you, at one point I did the overhead shot, and it just looked like chips, those little potato sticks in a can. I mean, it was literally nuts. It was just, there's so many people in the facility, and this is one of their smaller venues that they've had this at, so I can see why they would need more space than less. I mean, you're talking the sheer magnitude, thousands of people coming into this. Wow. Let's just talk about the level of play. We're talking about how many people are there. The level of play is insane too. I mean, your first 2, 3, 4 divisions are so identical in just how close those averages are. I mean, we talked to a guy from Division II who said, "Hey, Ryan, I remember playing you, and he actually bested you, and he was a Division II player." It was crazy. I mean,
well, and it's crazy because like when Porky and I had this conversation, he goes, it's hard to win Division I. It's hard to win Division II. It don't matter who you are. It's hard to win Division III. I mean, and Division IV players are right there on your heels. It's just hard to do.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it doesn't matter what division you play in. It's a tough battle. Nonetheless, I mean, you gotta get through that bracket. I mean, some of those, we saw in those upper tier divisions, 32 players for that first division, like through 6, and then after that, it stepped up and went to about a 128 range. So that's a big margin. And when you beat 128 player bracket, that's no joke. That's no joke right there. And it doesn't matter your skill level, to come through the bracket of that magnitude is pretty impressive.
One of the things that I really, really liked is they don't show averages during the tournament, so it's all blacked out on the bottom. You can't, if your tournament averages flow into next year's averages for your leagues, and they have some sort of combination systems, you don't know how well you did, so you can't play that quote unquote game where you're going to make sure you don't get in this. You don't come out of those divisions. I mean, if you want to win, you have to throw the winning darts. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, you hit right on the head, man. I keep saying it. You hit the nail on the head. Exactly. You're going to have to put in those darts that matter when it counts. And we saw kind of in the highlight reel there were some clips from Whammo. We saw Garrett Rakowski throwing 4 10-dart legs in a row. I mean, that right there is
doesn't win the event.
And doesn't win the event.
And doesn't win the event.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't win the event. I mean, that's just the sheer, just to think that is crazy. I mean, 4 10-darters, in a row on a stream is one thing, but to know you have to do it to get into that last finale, to have a shot at the title is crazy talk. And we saw it 9 marks, 7 marks, just back to back there in those. What was crazy, one event of cricket. I mean, they had, that's it, doubles cricket, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, and the level of play. So now you go into 501 freeze, and you lose the cork, you're out.
Mm-hmm.
How many legs did we see go to the third leg and they go up there and they lost the cork and never looked at the out, never even took a shot at it?
Well, we saw it's just insanity. We saw it with I think the Matt Jenkins Garrett Rakowski match. He was sitting there on a 10-darter himself, and if Garrett didn't hit it, he was going to. So that's just goes to show you, you got to have those clutch darts when it matters. We're going to have a quick walk-around view here of the hall at Whammo, just so you can kind of see what we talk about when we mean the sheer magnitude of people. So we'll play that real quick before we hit on to our next topic, and we'll kind of discuss it in the background here. I mean, it's an exciting time, but
just as you're walking around, look at, that thing it was just amazing. There was 24 basketball courts, and I don't know how many volleyball courts. 2 full softball fields could be put in there. And this is a slow time. Think about it. This was a slow time when we were there, remember?
Yeah, because I had to have time to go film this real quick, and that's usually something that doesn't happen when we're packed full of people. So yeah, when you're talking this many segments of dartboards just laid out, and just the amount of people involved in each one of these little segments, it's crazy. It is crazy, man. Just wow.
And there's more room between the dartboards on each wall than I had seen at the Bullshooters or TOCs in the past. There's a lot of room in there. And then on team day, you can't even walk from point A to the other side of a segment. You can't. It's wall to wall people. 4 players per dartboard per team, so 8 on a dartboard, all the way across. And you got, what was there, 10 of those sections?
Yeah, there was quite a few. I don't know how many to be exact, but man, just plethora. It was just crazy to even.
And this
see
was
that
the
with your
small
eyes.
one.
Yeah, this was the small.
This was
venue.
their small one.
They still go to La Crosse and Green Bay as well, and those venues are pretty massive. But on to our next topic. How about this? Bullshooter is gonna partner with ESPN. And they're going to broadcast this fall. I'm kind of excited for us to dip our toes into the ESPN side of things. That's a big, big audience right there. I think that's going to be big for our sport.
Kudos to Arachnid Bullshooter. It's going to feature what American darts is all about on the soft tip level. I know we're going to see what American darts is all about on the steel tip level this weekend. The Bullshooter is an open tournament. You don't got to qualify for it, and anybody can show up and play. And kudos. Here's your opportunity to walk in there and play and win, and maybe you be on ESPN. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. You never know what can happen. You can be on ESPN. I'm kind of anxiously waiting to see the details on that one. As a production guy, I can only hope to see how that looks and get the feed and see that myself. You know, I'm kind of anxiously awaiting that one as we've kind of been stepping up our game on the production side. I'm happy to say that, and you can only sit here and dream like what could happen potentially if we get the likes of like cornhole. We've seen how big that is kind of taken off and broadened. What could happen with our sport? That is the true question. Nobody knows.
Can we see a Whammo in every state? I mean, I'm sorry, but Whammo state championships is the biggest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. And there's a reason for that. I mean, people can dog on soft tip, and some people love steel tip or whatever. There's a reason why. I mean, you're putting money into the leagues, you're putting money into the vendors, then they're giving it back to you. I think that's why we see some good payouts, and we see that division-based play as well, which is kind of a big thing as well. So.
Well, I tell one other thing that winning whatever division you won was a lot of pride. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when those folks were Division 17 and they won their 4-man team event, they were out there taking pictures and congratulations and jumping up and down. Remember that one guy that I don't know what he hit over there, and it was Division 2 or Division 3 while we're filming the feature of the Division 1, and I mean to tell you what, it was golden.
It was a level 20.
How many times have some of those players been in that situation? You know, I mean, let's say that you've gone for 20 years and you finally win. That is huge.
Yeah, and I think that's something to say. Is if you're looking to kind of grow your game, division play is a good thing. Handicap play, I would steer away from. That's just myself, but
I don't. I mean, that's fine. You know what? If we're both basically ranked the same and we're both here properly, it's throw a dart, dart for dart.
Yep.
You start on 0. I start on 0 in cricket. First one to get everything closed. I'm at the point lead, and then we're both going to start at 501, and let's go. I like that better than say, I'm going to start at 764. You're going to start at 485. You get to go first, and you blast a hat trick, and I'm 400 points, but I haven't even thrown a dart yet.
Yeah, it's not really true competition. I feel. I think it's as the better player, kind of. It's really tough to come back from something when you could be. Let's say I played somebody 900, and I'm starting on 501. or I'm starting on 9:01 and they're starting on 5:01. It just doesn't. It's not right. I don't think, but it is what it is.
I think it has some of its features. I don't know. League night, I don't get so worried about it. If you're going to play in tournament play, I don't believe. I mean, divisions is the only way I would do tournament. Never handicap. If you handicap in league, yeah, all right. You just play around it.
Yep.
But it's when it comes to tournament play, we're playing for money. We're in the same division. Let's go.
Yep. I can 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. Well, on to our next subject. How about this for Mr. Dave Cameron collecting a nice piece of hardware there. That is impressive, isn't it? The Seniors World Masters title. That is impressive. And to win it on qualifier, too. He came through the qualifiers and earned his spot into the final to play Phil Taylor, and he won 6-3 against Phil. It was no slouchy affair. He really dug in and played some impressive stuff to win this title, and that's going to do him justice going into this U.S. Masters here in a little bit. What do you say?
Well, Dave is a quality stand-up guy. He's always been really nice to me, and I've played doubles with him before. I got to play doubles and triples with him one time at the TOC.
Wow.
Had a ball. Had a great time playing with him, and he kept going. You cork and go first. I'm like, you're Dave Cameron. No, he made me cork and go first. So I'm like, okay, here we go. Anyways, no, but he puts a lot of passion and a lot of pride in his darts. He wears his heart on the sleeve. He doesn't like to lose like anybody, but he loses with dignity. He's been whitewashed, and now he's been a World Senior Series Masters champion. I mean, come on. The guy deserves it. He's put the hard work in. He's at the tournaments. He's at the Vegas. He's been going overseas. Kudos to Dave.
Well, I definitely enjoyed watching the coverage myself, and getting to see him on that stage is pretty cool. The Lakeside stage, after all, is pretty impressive, and the atmosphere alone. I mean, what they're doing for the seniors, I think it's really neat, and I kind of like it. Hopefully, all you do as well, because that's what continues to let this happen. And seeing like the John Lowe and Phil Taylor, Kevin Painter, those guys, and even you could say Dita Hedman, Lisa Ashton, Trina Gulliver, those ladies step to that stage is really fun. I enjoy it.
I think it's a great format. I mean, it's just, okay, we're all fans of the game, and I've always been a Phil Taylor fan. And, when he retired, I was like, a little bummed out. I do like MVG. I do like Peter Wright. I do like a lot of the PDC, but I was always a Taylor fan. And now he's playing World Senior Darts. I'm like, well, good. I get to watch Taylor again. And then he got to play David. I'm like, oh, God, I can't even root for Phil, even though I like Phil. I rooted for David because I know David.
Yeah, and that's the tough deal there, because I'm a Martin Adams fan, so that was kind of it's nice to see him toe the hockey, and I've had the unique opportunity to announce a match for him in that WDF Virtual Cup, so that was kind of fun. So yeah, it's just really unique seeing those older guys get a chance on the stage once again. And although they might be not be in their truest form when they were playing in their golden era,
I don't care.
They're still chucking it in.
I mean, come on, they're still. I mean, come on, it's still 85, 90 averages. I mean, it's still going to best 99% of the United States. So.
Yeah, I'm about to say, they're still going to get me.
To me, it's great. It's great for the sport. You kind of give one more step outside. Everyone's become a big fan of the PDC, and our streams have picked up a lot of fans, and we've got to see Gates and the Baggish and the lobby and stuff play on the streams. I think it's just one more element that needs to continue, because it's like all of a sudden, like, oh, well, Dave's in the quarters. Hey, maybe the Dave's in the quarter, and she's like, oh, well, that's cool. Oh, hey, he won. He's in the semis. So I kept going, oh, crap, he's in the finals, and then they're like, okay, and I'm like, shut up, don't talk to me.
Right, exactly.
Seniors, I don't care. It wasn't PDC. I was a fan. I wanted to see him win it.
Yep, exactly.
And
right.
that's the excitement. That's the excitement I hope that players that are fans of the game continue on because, John Part, I've met him a couple times, seeing him back on stage. I know he still tries to get in the PDC. He still plays at the CDC. So you do get to see him, but, seeing him playing against his old foes, you can dig deeper in the tank because, like, I've played this guy 30 times in my life and I beat him. You want to see that rivalries come back out.
Yeah. Yeah, you really do. You really love seeing those rivalries kind of present once again. So, speaking of Danny Baggish, Lobby, and others, how about this? The U.S. Masters is underway. It's getting ready to start. They're kind of getting into New York. Everybody's kind of stepping foot on the island, as they say. We'll kind of get into that here in just a second. But before we do, how about a little word from our sponsors, usadartsproduction. They got a nice brand of the month with Cosmo and FitFlight. They're going to be doing a bunch of deals and sales on those two brands this month. So make sure to keep your eyes out on the usadarts.com Facebook pages, social pages, platforms. Definitely want to do that because you never know what could be you could be getting a deal on here soon. So let's get into it. U.S. Masters, we do have the draw that was announced today. So some fun stuff there. Let's take a look at that one. What do you say, Ryan? Peter Wright versus Danny Baggish. Fallon Sherrock taking on Leonard Gates. Michael Smith taking on Doug Boehm. How about that? He kind of called that one at the CDC qualifiers. I don't know if you heard that or not, but he was like, I
did not hear that.
Yeah, I guess he imagines seeing himself play Michael Smith and seeing is believing. Look at that. You got Michael Smith now. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing with the way Michael's been playing this month. He's been playing some outrageous stuff. As we continue on, Gary Anderson taking on Matt Campbell, Gerwin Price taking on David Cameron, Johnny Clayton taking on Danny Lauby, MVG taking on your buddy Jules Van Doggen, in a semi-all-Dutch affair, James Wade and Jeff Smith. What pops your eye on that one, sir? It's tough.
You know what? I think we have had the last 3 years that I actually went to the last two. I'm missing New York this year. I've been the last two. So I watched Jeff win and Danny win North American Opens, and then I watched James Wade get beat, but then go on to win one. So this field is tough, and the reason why I like this field is they have experienced a lot more than some of the players in the past. And some of these players were in the field, but now they're back with more stage experience, more Q School experience, more qualifier, UK Open. 4 of them are PDC Tour card holders. German Masters. We just keep going on and on. Jules played in Prague. Danny played. Lobby played in UK Open. Baggish played in UK Open. Of course, Matt Campbell, you've seen all the stuff he's been doing. Jeff Smith's made some deep runs in a lot of tournaments. Dave Cameron just won your senior tour. So it's a very strong field that can go deep. And we both know what Gates can do. And you know how he told us about Q School that he was putting up impressive numbers. It just people were checking things out on him that, 138 gone, 139 gone, 119. He's like, I had 100 average, and people were checking big numbers out every time on me. So you know what he can do.
Yeah, you definitely. There's some. Of course, you got your PDC players. Those are always big name players, and you got.
You can't discount those guys either. And I'm not. I'm just come on, yeah. North America.
Yeah, I know. I feel you on that one. It's tough to really pick someone. We've always had to struggle some affair of will an American or will a Canadian make it through that first round. It's always a daunting task. You're talking, your top. What is that? Well, I think Johnny Clayton. I think he's like number 9, number 8 on the order of merit. I'm not sure right now on that current order of merit for him, but I know you got your top 6 players there, and then you got Fallon, who, she doesn't have her card yet, but we know what she's capable of. We know what she's done in the past. I don't know.
Second in the Nordic Open.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to kind of pick a person that kind of catches my eye here. But I do think that there's a couple names that stand out. Who knows how MVG is going to be doing with his carpal tunnel that now has kind of arose and become an issue that's going to put him out of the World Cup. Jules could possibly get through there. He did put out a post today. He's undefeated against MVG. I mean, you never know.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, and the bottom line of it is when I think our experience level is giving us the best shot. Our talent levels have been the same as far as what the players can do the last 4 or 5 years, and we've put our best up there. I think this time around it's experience from those players. I mean, you've got Milkman's played in the past, DJ Sayers played in the past. They're all great players, and they are capable of winning. However, Jeff Smith has been in that field before. Baggish has been in that field before. But this time, these guys are coming in with raw stage experience. I mean, they've already been on stages. That crowd's not going to bother them. The walk-in's just part of it. They've been in the same room with everybody on that roster that they're playing against on a normal basis. So it's, I think that's going to finally play a factor to really help us get a player or two through. I'm not going to pick anybody to win because I want them all to win. I really, really do. I really, really do.
I feel you there. I definitely want them all to win.
And the reason why I say that is because I don't have a favorite. But, I am good friends with Jules, but I don't have a favorite. But I know everybody on that list but one, and I know them all pretty well, and I like them all. And I've rooted them all, and I've played against them all. So I'm rooting North America. Just going to say that. Who do you want to win? North America.
North America, just North America. Well, we'll take one more look at that real quick just before we go. And this is the kind of order. So, I mean, your top two, whoever wins that one will play each other, and then so on and so forth down the line. So that kind of is your bracket per se. The one that sticks out for me that I think can really make a run here is going to be Matt Campbell, and that's just because he's played some impressive stuff this year for his first year on the Pro Tour. He's hit some quality shots when he needed to. He made a run to the finals of a Players' Championship event. So that, to me, is going to be the gentleman that I think could potentially make a run here. And that's going to be the one name that I give you. I think that he's potentially the one that could make a big run. What do you think?
Jeff Smith. I just think that his true PDC experience is going to show.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get through, by golly, it's going to come down to he just missed the double, or they checked it out on him. That's it, because of his true experience. Matt Campbell, I do see, because Gary, we've all seen, has not played his best this year. But then again, Gary's like, it could be a holiday. I don't care. Let's go out and play. And I'm on holiday, and it's in New York, and ton 80. I'll check it out.
That's how he is. Some days he's fishing, sometimes he's
Lobby Clayton. I love the speed of Lobby. I actually tried to play Danny in Cleveland at Danny's pace, and I wore myself out after one leg. Took the first leg, played at his pace, and was breathing heavy. Maybe that comes into play for Clayton, but Clayton can throw fast too. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to think of, Gates has got that true, sheer scoring power. Maybe he just gets her frustrated and he clips her out. I mean, you just don't know. Jules and MVG, like, hey, this is a Dutch affair, and I don't care who you are. It's a pride thing. I don't know. I mean, you don't know what's going to be in each one of those players' mind.
So for those that are listening, Ryan's taking every single North American on this card right now. Hilarious. I can't blame you. Lisa is actually in the chat hanging out, so I know she loves a little mention for Jules. So good stuff here. But we'll move on here.
Well, it's funny. Let's just say Lisa posted the picture, and she was in the front seat, and then the two kids, and then she made Jules sit in the back of the car.
The way back.
Rip baby in the back.
You get way back there. Well, move on to Pro Darts in the Premier League here. We do want to mention that. You already mentioned some good Euro Tour participations from most of these guys. I mean, you had Matt, Jeff, Danny, and Jules all participate in Euro Tour events, which is nice to see. First couple times for Americans, as we saw Danny be the first one to play in a Euro Tour, and then Jules was a close second. That's always nice to see our Americans and Canadians get around. I do think that here in the next 5 years, we're going to see a North American kind of in that top 32. I think we could potentially see that. I mean, it's not far, I don't think.
I think logistics and dynamics are starting to be figured out for these players. I'm going to give another shout out to Jeff Smith. If you guys don't watch Jeff Smith's problems he had as a traveling person the last 2 years trying to play the PDC, you've been under a rock, because that man said everything from flights canceled to delayed flights to stuck in a hotel for weeks and doesn't get but he still kept going after the PDC tour. He still kept going after it. And I think as our players get more acclimated to going overseas, get more used to doing it, logistics get better. The people are helping them out better over there. I know we've had some of our young guys like Joey and Peter Stewart, and those guys been going over and playing in challenge tours. And, of course, Danny Lobby's been going over there quite a bit. So I think logistics will finally start to come into play to really help North America go over there and compete, like you said, to a top 32 side.
I agree, and you mentioned a couple big names there. I mean, Joey Leno, Peter Stewart Jr. Those are two young men that I think here in the next 3 years will attempt to try to get their tour card. I mean, why not? I mean, they're kind of young. I think Peter Stewart's actually, he may be a little bit too young, but I think he's pretty much around the corner. They've got the ability. If they keep slanging like they are, I mean, we could really see those two kind of kickstart into a nice little career overseas. I mean, they've got that desire. They've got that will to go do it. I mean, that's the impressive thing that I see in both those two gentlemen. And that's just what I'm saying. I think that we have too much talent here on the game, and we keep, every time we touch the hockey together, it's just more and more practice and more ability that we gain, and more our averages grow. I think that. Okay,
let's say the Baggish and Jules and Campbell and Smith retain their tour cards. Okay, and then all of a sudden you add Gates and Danny Lobby, and then a couple other guys that are, I know, in North America or in Canada, both Cameron, any one of those guys that all of a sudden get a port. So now you got 10 or 12 North Americans over there. So all of a sudden logistics can get a little bit easier. Maybe sharing rooms, stuff like that, the expenses that go into it. Mm-hmm. If you try to do this thing by yourself, I mean, you could win 3 rounds every time and still lose everything you got. So I think as more and more get together, it's the ability to practice, it's the ability to travel. There's a lot of little things that can go into helping North Americans become more better and stronger overseas.
Well, I think that's why you see a Dawson Rochelle kind of getting back into things as well. I mean, when he was over there doing it on the tour, he was by himself. That was it. I mean, that's really difficult to do. But it's just mentally draining. I mean, it's so tough to get out there and do those things, like just go through that day-to-day grind, because you can't get a job over there. You're on a visa for playing darts. That is your job. So it's very difficult to be over there by yourself and not have that comfort of a friend right next to you. It's a difficult task. It really is, and I feel for those players that are doing it. So, the more players, the more camaraderie and the easier it'll become. So, how about the Premier League? What's your thoughts on the format now that we've kind of got into we're coming up on finals night. What do you think now?
I actually enjoyed it, and I think that a player like Joe Cullen for the longest time was, I think he was, near the bottom, and then all of a sudden came on strong, earned enough points to get in there. I think what the testament is that being consistent week over week by just winning one match and just winning those points was no longer good enough. You had to play, and you had to be challenged to win to make that Final Four. We know that. I think everybody won one night. If we look at the chart, I remember looking at the chart. I believe everybody won one night. And when you break it down, it's. You sit back and you're like, well, you won one night, you got 5 points, but you spent 7 nights out the first round.
I can't remember if Ando got a night or not. That would be the only one that
he did. He won. He got won a night because someone said something, and he tore it up, and he won one night. But he also went out first round a lot.
Yeah, and that was the kind of controversial thing we kind of discussed at the very beginning. I think it was episode 1, 2, or 3 or something like that. We kind of got into a controversial. It was really controversial. That person doesn't deserve to be in there. This person should be in there. It was. Should Cullen be in? Should Jose De Souza be in? Who should be out? Who should not be? Does Wade deserve a spot? And I said at the very beginning, Wade's proved he should be in. He didn't earn a spot last year. Gerwin Price fell out. He snuck in and did damage. Look where he's sitting now. He's in the top 4. He's made it to the finals night. He's definitely certified in. Cullen's proved it. He's into the final night. The one person that didn't prove it was Gary Anderson. And I mentioned it at the very beginning. Gary Anderson performs for that world championship, but when it comes to Premier League, he's never performed really, of late. And if it was me, I would have taken Gary Anderson out and replaced him with somebody else. But that was just me. That's just my thoughts. I know.
Sell tickets.
That's what you're gonna say.
Gotta pack arenas.
It comes.
I'm gonna tell you from the days past when I went to the car races, you only cared about one thing. You cared about the feature, and you cared about your favorite driver. It's the same thing. You're only caring about those Premier League players. And if you're a Michael Smith fan and you happen to be there the night he won it, it was great. It was an awesome experience. If you were an MVG fan and you've seen him get knocked out the first round, you're throwing your tickets down and walking out. It's a little bit different than say, okay, well, Michael played, and yeah, he did all right. He tied. No, you wanted Michael Smith to win. It's like, come on, he's got to win this thing. That's what I wanted to see. So it's stands, it's tickets, it's betting, it's all together. Ando puts him in the crowd. They sing songs about him, by the way.
The only downside that I thought on the format, and Gerwin Price mentioned this, and it was surprising that he mentioned this, of all people, is he mentioned that the format just kind of eats at you because you're playing a race to 6. Now, instead of 1 time per night, you're paying it possibly 3 times. To get into the finals.
And you got 16 weeks, and then you got your playoffs, and yeah, it's
that's
you're running your racehorse every single week, and then you got then they throw in all the other stuff that comes with it, with the Euro Tours, and then you got the Players Championship stuff, and the UK Open was in the middle of it. And then now they got U.S. Masters this weekend, so let's just take our good players and sell tickets, folks.
That's the tough thing. Is money is good, but it can be rough. I could see where Gerwin Price would say that and be like, hey, I'm getting eat up here. And then when you talk about the sheer magnitude of going from one Premier League night and then, you got a player or a weekend ahead at a Euro Tour. Oh, man, I didn't think about that. Well, eating yourself up because that travel is one thing as well, especially coming over here to New York. That's got to be a big thing.
Which I noticed the pictures that they were posting, the PDC was posting about with them over here in New York. And they're here a little early, which actually doesn't surprise me because they were always early in Vegas, especially during the qualifiers. They would come down and talk to the players. But I think they're this is holiday to some degree because it looked like they're a lot more relaxed in those photos. And I've seen some stuff that Fallon had posted about walking around New York City. So I guess this is kind of a holiday.
they can be themselves. I mean, the thing is that European crowd, everybody knows them. They're big time stars over there. Here in North America, you're not Tom Brady. You're not Aaron Rodgers to these guys. You're a dart player to some of these people. I mean, others know who these guys are. I mean, we've had some fanatics that made their way down to Times Square to say hello to some of these individuals and snap a pic. So that must be nice for them to get noticed, but at the same time enjoy some time outside the spotlight here in a country that maybe doesn't.
How many of those players ate a hot dog? All I kept hearing was, "Let's get a hot dog." So I wish we
delicious.
could know who all of the PDC had a hot dog in Times Square.
Yeah, I'm wanting to know and what kind of style they had it. Maybe we'll be headed up to the PDC USA Masters or US Masters myself. So maybe we'll get to ask somebody that question. Hopefully that'd be kind of cool if we can get up there. I had one cancellation already, so we're gonna try to figure it out and make our way up there still. But I want to ask you, Ryan, as we kind of close out this, who do you think lifts the title? MVG, Johnny Clayton, James Wade, or Joe Cohen?
James Wade.
Wow. Okay. James Wade for Mr. Ryan Mooneyham. You know, I'm gonna have to go with Johnny Clayton, just because Johnny Clayton has won an impressive amount of nights in this Premier League, and I think he's gonna make it back to back. I think he's just set to do that. But before we get on out of here, I did want to kind of mention one thing. We do have the World Cup, I believe, happening as well. MVG is out on that one. That is happening, I believe, June? I think it's mid-June?
As soon as he gets back from New York, he's getting surgery, is what it said on one of the dart forums today.
Yeah, and I think he'll play
tunnel.
Yeah, he'll play in that Premier League night. Of course, I mean that's too much money not to play in. But yeah, after that one, and that may be a much needed break for him to kind of get back into things too. I mean, he's got a family, he's got a couple kids now. Maybe he uses this time to kind of rest up and enjoy some family time, and then get back after it. You never know. But give me one team for the World Cup that you think could lift the title.
England,
and that's James Wade and Michael Smith. I think towing the Aki for that one. That one's a good team. That one's a looking good team. England's never been a really good doubles at their doubles play, so that one could kind of interest me.
You still gonna say Wells?
I think Wales is going to be very tough to beat. I mean, German Price has said he's got a hand injury. He's could be still recovered on that one, but I think one to look out for is that Canadian team, Matt Campbell and Jeff Smith. We've seen what they did last year. Who knows?
Hey, they're doubles.
They're awfully good at that doubles game.
We have our team USA of of Baggish and JVD. They've played doubles together in the United States, so they kind of have some chemistry already. You know, Matt Campbell and Jeff Smith played doubles together. Yes, I do believe that I think our teams will go deep. I think we'll win. Of course, the draw will, sometimes will dictate that. I looked at that World Cup pairings today. I really like that James Wade and Michael Smith pairing. I really do.
I guess we'll see what happens with that one.
I will probably be wrong on James Wade all the way through. You're a big Michael Smith fan. I do like several. I like Clayton. I like Wade.
Yep.
Of course, I'm Team North America this weekend.
Yeah, buddy.
8-0, folks. North America, 8-0. I'm just going to put it out there.
I think we all are. Well, a couple events coming our way. I did want to mention our future coming events. For us, it's going to be Cherry Bomb. Nick DeShare is going to be joining me for that one down in Boca Raton, Florida. So interested in that one. And then we have Steel City, Alien Open, and then Music City. We do have the stream for Music City, so we're excited for that one. And then for Soft Tip, Partners Promoting Darts Daily Remote Tournaments, or DRTs. Don't want to forget about those. Father's Day Frenzy event. We'll be streaming that up in Jefferson, Wisconsin. And then we got PPD Nationals July 16th. And then how about this one for me and you, buddy? The ADA National Championships in July, late July to be exact. That's a unique soft tip and steel tip event. So me and Ryan Mooneyham will be bunking up and joining that one, or joining each other for that one. Yeah, I'm excited. Should be fun. Should be fun. You can't complain when you're in Vegas, that's for sure. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. What do you think of those events, buddy?
Yeah. Also, back to shout out to Sean Green, who joined us at Whammo. Sean the Green in the point streaming. He's doing some CDC stuff. He's joined us with USA Darts. He's done a lot of stuff with you. Great commentator. He's got a large fan base. It was a blessing to work with him, because when he walked in, I'm like, your turn. I'm tired.
It can be tough.
But no, I wanted to give Sean came in and was phenomenal to work with. He was a true professional. It made USA Darts Productions, I felt, with the team we had for the Whammo and coming up in the future, just I think one step better.
Yeah.
At least we hope.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I think we were battling some internet issues there, so it's nice when Sean came to the rescue there, and we were kind of recovering there.
Yes, he came to the rescue.
Getting back into getting some energy into the booth. That's exactly what we needed. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because yeah, Sean's a great addition to the team. We love having him in the booth, and anytime we can kind of knock that out, the three of us, I think it's just a better production value that we can bring, and kind of just dot all those I's and cross the T's, as they say, and really make a good show and show what North American darters can do. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, Ryan, what do you say? Any last words, buddy?
Team North America, go Baggish, go Lobby, go Jules, go Gates, go Smith, go Campbell, go Dave. I don't want to say your name wrong. Don't let me say your name wrong there. Dave Bohm. And last but not least, congratulations, and do it again, Dave Cameron.
There we go. There we go. Great stuff, Ryan.
Go Team North America.
As everybody else should be here.
I love this event.
It's going to be great. I'm excited to be there. I'm going to knock on some wood to get me there with no issues, hopefully. And you never know. Maybe we can create some content out of it, and we'll see what we can provide for you here on USA Darts. Thanks for watching, folks. We definitely appreciate it. From Will Stuart here and Ryan Mooneyham. Thanks for watching, folks. We will see you next time for another Bullshooting Podcast.